Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Titan Sports. I'm Marisa Flores.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Ethan Michael.
How's it going? I'm Alex Granados.
And I'm Oscar Rodriguez. We're here to get the ball rolling to provide you with your weekly sports updates. Welcome to Titan Sports.
Let's go ahead and start off with the NFL because the first quarterback contract domino has officially fallen as Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts agreed to a 5-year, $255 million extension, which includes $179 million guaranteed and a no-trade clause.
Hurts, who was a second-round draft pick, has improved significantly in his 2 seasons as a starter. In 2022, he threw for 3,700 yards, ran for 760 yards, and threw 22 touchdowns, ran for another 13 with 6 interceptions. After a breakout MVP caliber season, he becomes the highest paid quarterback in terms of average annual value in NFL history.
And for good reason, too. I don't think it was ever a question of whether the Eagles would extend his contract and pay Hurts, but rather the question was if it would be this offseason or in 2024. But now they have their franchise quarterback locked up for the next 6 years.
Not only does Hurts have an all-female management team, but his agent Nicole Lynn of Clutch Sports has now done the biggest deal by a female sports agent in sports history. So shout out to her.
That's right. With one superstar quarterback secured, we will now expect another 3 to be as well very soon. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert.
After an eventful tournament, the NBA playoffs are already showing how unpredictable the game can be.
Most games involved upsets, with lower-ranked teams taking the early lead. Popular faces of the league like Giannis Antetokounmpo and Ja Morant being highly limited or even out for the remainder of the first round.
In the first game, the LA Lakers' Ja Morant drove to the hoop as usual, but injured his right hand after landing badly on his wrist. Morant is expected to be out several games and wearing a cast around his hand.
The Grizzlies weren't the only team with injuries, however, as Anthony Davis had to step out hurting his shoulder. With the Grizzlies now down their best player and 2 centers, the Lakers are in prime possession to steal the series from the second seed.
The Lakers needed their supporting cast to step up, and they did just that, with Rui Hachimura scoring 29 points off the bench and Austin Reeves stepping up clutch late in the game.
Back to the Eastern Conference 2023 MVP finalist Giannis Antetokounmpo had to leave the game after hurting his back. Following this, the 8th seed Heat ended up winning by double digits.
Milwaukee wasn't the only team to lose a key player, though, as it was announced Tyler Hero also has a broken right hand. Antetokounmpo's MRI was reportedly clean and won't hold back the 2-time MVP for long.
After finishing the best season of his career and becoming an all-star for the first time, Utah Jazz forward Lauri Markkanen is now getting ready to serve in the military for his native country, Finland.
While most players who have a professional career spend all their energy trying to get back to all-star status, Markkanen is in quite a unique situation as an NBA player will have to go through military training during the off-season.
Every male citizen in Finland is required to serve the military before turning the age of 30. The 25-year-old didn't seem to resent his obligation in the slightest.
The star forward assured his fans that he's at ease about his current situation, stating, quote, "I think it sets an example to serve, and I'm confident I can do it in a way that's not going to affect my preparation for next season either," end quote.
A symbol of his commitment to his country, Markkanen posted a picture on his Instagram revealing his new haircut. His new buzz cut is quite a contrast from his signature look with golden locks.
So while it is custom for soldiers to have this haircut, Markkanen seems to be embracing it and his new added occupation for the off-season. He assured everyone that this is only temporary, as his caption read, quote, "Curls will be back," end quote.
The specific department Markkanen has been assigned at is the Defense Forces Sports School. There, Markkanen will be a part of training reconnaissance groups for emergency situations.
This seems to be a perfect fit for the star athlete to contribute in an effective way since the Jazz didn't make the playoffs. He felt it was the right time to serve his country proudly.
On to soccer, where the U.S. Soccer Federation is going to enforce its policy against anti-gay chanting starting when the United States plays against Mexico on April 19th.
The policy was approved by the USSF board in May 2022 and ratified last month in an annual meeting.
The Federation states, quote, U.S. Soccer takes the issue of discriminatory behavior seriously and strictly prohibits any derogatory chant, end quote.
The 3-step process in enforcing this rule to fans includes first receiving a warning and stop the discriminatory chant. The second is a 2-minute game suspension. And finally, the third and final warning will send the players to their locker rooms for 10 minutes. Hitting that final warning would force both teams to abandon the match.
Last January, FIFA fined Mexico's Football Federation $108,000 for chanting the anti-gay slur at the 2022 World Cup. It's a game against Saudi Arabia and Poland, resulting in the FIFA forcing Mexico to play a World Cup qualifier without fans against Jamaica.
On other soccer news, where Argentina is set to host the U20 Soccer World Cup following the ultimate decision by FIFA to strip Indonesia from staging the tournament.
Indonesia was stripped of its right to host the World Cup after the country's governing body refused to host Israel's team in the event. With the rise of religious conservatism in Indonesia, these ideas have grown more prevalent within football politics.
This won't be Argentina's first time hosting the U20 World Cup, as the country previously hosted the tournament back in 2001, where they won the fourth of their 6 titles.
When it comes to hosting the 2023 U20 World Cup finals, Argentina is also seeking a joint host partnership with Latin American neighbors Uruguay, Chile, and Paraguay.
Now on the Titan timeline, where CSUF softball are on a 5-game winning streak and have regained first place in the Big West Conference.
The pitching staff was dominant this weekend, helping sweep UC San Diego and not allowing any runs. Micah Sutherland, Haley Rainey, and Racy Miranda combined for 21 scoreless innings against the Tridents.
Sutherland continues to make a case for Big West Pitcher of the Year, sharing the title of Big West Pitcher of the Week 10 weeks in a row in 2023 season, and tossed 2 complete game shutouts and outdueled Jada Cecile, who was last year's Conference Pitcher of the Year in the very first game of the series.
Sutherland is tied for the conference with 13 wins and an ERA of 1.6 and a lead with 167 strikeouts.
The Titans will look to continue their winning ways and stay atop the conference as they host UC Santa Barbara this weekend, beginning Friday night.
All right, stay tuned for our roundtable discussion coming right up after the break. Hello and welcome back to our roundtable discussion. I know we didn't talk that much. We talked a little bit about the NBA, but I want to go more in depth about it. Especially the Kings played yesterday. They're 2-0 right now. In my opinion, I think they're going to win the series. I know I talked about it a little bit from last show, but I think they're going to get at least Game 5 or Game 6. I still think the Warriors, especially with Clay and Stephen Curry still in the matchup. I think Draymond was ejected last game, but even then, I still think the Kings are going to win by Game 5 at least. But what do you guys have?
Well, if the Warriors have shown anything, they can come back. They know how to turn it on whenever. But, yeah, no, 2-0, that makes it hard. They do go back to Golden State. So, I mean, they're in prime position to come back. It's still been close games. That's the thing, right? The Kings, it's been a 3-point game and then an 8-point game. So, honestly, I would still pick the Warriors. Even though they're down 2-0,
really?
Yeah, I would. Like, especially with the odds. Like, if you gave me regular odds, then no.
This guy started with price pick, bro.
But if you gave me the odds, I would pick the Warriors to win right now, yeah.
Okay. What do you guys think?
Well, they are going back to San Francisco. That crowd is going to be absolutely crazy, especially after what happened last night. Draymond's going to hype them up for sure. Steph actually shot really bad last night. He was really poor. I believe he was 3 of 13. Obviously, at the end, he just started chucking up desperation threes. But, yeah, it's a young team, the Kings are. Obviously, the Warriors are still the champs. They had the one thing that does concern me, they've never been down 2-0 in a series to start a series. So that is the only cause for concern right now. But 3 games at home, hopefully they can get back together, go up 3-2, and then we'll go from there.
I think just like you, I'm going to have to go ahead and take the Kings in about 5 5 or 6 games. That reason being is because they're one of the youngest teams in the league, and from what I've seen from them this season, they're really scrappy. But I like what you said, so is Steph Curry, when he really needs to be and when it really counts, and they are going back home for their next game. And I think with these off days, he's really going to pump the brakes, press on the gas for this next game. And I think, like you said, they have a really strong chance of making a turnaround. But like I said, this is a really young and scrappy team. You have one scrappy player against a squad of multiple scrappy players who also have that age on their side. So it's going to be a toss-up for sure, but I think I'm going to go ahead and have the Kings take the series on my side.
So if you're picking the Kings, I think we're all in agreement that the Lakers are probably going to win that Grizzlies series, right?
You don't want to jinx it, man.
Yeah.
You don't want to jinx it either. Because then I'll text you Wednesday night when they lose, if they lose.
It's looking sweet for the Lakers, though. And so if you guys pick the Kings, it could not look better for the Lakers right now. If you're a Lakers fan, rough start to the season, but right now it could not look sweeter. Especially, Nuggets are a different team than a couple years ago, but the Lakers have shown, especially just with the combo with LeBron and AD, that they match up well against that Nuggets roster, even though they've grown as a team, but I'm just saying, couldn't be sweeter for the Lakers right now.
No, yeah, because especially with Joel Moran out, that's their best player in the team, and we're like, all right, who else is gonna guard Anthony Davis, LeBron James,
With no centers.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think even then, so you got the Lakers even winning the Nuggets. So let's say they pass the Grizzlies.
I don't know about the Nuggets, but here's the thing: I would pick if the Warriors beat the Kings, I'll pick the Warriors. But if the Kings advance and the Lakers advance, Lakers are going to the conference finals, and I don't know what's going to happen there. But yeah.
Well, last question on that matchup. So, what game do you think? Do you think it's going to go to a Game 7 between the Kings and the Warriors, or?
Probably. It could. I mean, we'll take it case by case. They have to win these home games first, obviously. Yeah. I mean, if they have to come in the clutch at home, and I think something that the Kings have on them is that they've been a close-knit team the whole year. The Warriors obviously have had some off-season stuff early in the season with Draymond Green and Jordan Poole, and then this whole Andrew Wiggins thing, which we're not sure about, but he missed a long time. So it's hard to put it together in the playoffs, especially when you're missing so much time.
All right.
What do you think about that Lakers series? Because I know you had some opinions about it.
I did call the upset last week, Lakers over the Grizzlies. I believe that series is over. Ja Morant might miss, if it's not the whole series, he's going to miss game 2. Like I said last week, they were missing Adams. They're also missing Brandon Clark. So Anthony Davis, as long as he stays healthy, which he scared me on game 1, I was like, oh my goodness, here we go again.
Every time he falls, I know.
He scared me there, but he came back. As long as he stays healthy, they will win this series, probably in 6. But yeah, I still stand by that.
Well, that's been my whole thing with the Lakers is they also are a team that can press on the gas when it matters, but they haven't really been that consistent for me. And I know we were texting, I think it was it wasn't the Minnesota game, it was the Memphis game, wasn't it? Or was it the Minnesota game?
No, it was Minnesota.
It was Minnesota.
versus the
Okay,
Lakers,
yeah. But that was another really close game that almost came down to the final minutes, really, in the fourth quarter. And when we were texting about it, I told you when it looked like it wasn't going to go pretty for the Lakers, they're not consistent. And I was worried for them in that fourth quarter for that exact reason. But I think, like you said, if the Kings can manage to take this series against Golden State, I think the Lakers will have a better chance because they're veterans compared to a team full of younger people. So I would be on your side in that matchup for sure and go ahead and take the Lakers. But I kind of want to touch a little bit, just really quick, what did you guys think about that Draymond play? Even if you didn't watch the game, I know you probably saw the clip with Sabonis too. So
it's part of the game. It's
Right.
part of the game. I mean, you can't discredit character because or else it's just going to be some boring robotic game. I mean, that's part of it, right? Draymond, Patrick Beverley, guys like that, they're not the most skilled players, and sometimes you'll question PJ Tucker. You'll question why they're in the game or why they're talked about so much. That's why, because at the end of the day, it's a show. It's entertainment, and they know that. Draymond knows that. He has a podcast. He knows that's entertainment, and you got to put on a show.
But did you think it was intentional?
Yeah, sure, but it doesn't matter to me. I mean, if it's intentional or not, it's part of the game.
Yeah, going back to what Ethan said, I forgot who said it, but speaking of like Draymond and Patrick Beverley, there's a certain sports analyst that said it. Those are the type of players that you hate to play against, but you love to have on your team because you know they're gonna annoy the person who they're facing against. So I definitely get that because I definitely wouldn't want Draymond be playing against Draymond, but I knew I would love to have him on my team.
That's right, but given how Golden State has been playing and the fact that they are down 2-0 now, do you think it was a wise decision? Because like you said, we know his character, we know he can play dirty at times, but do you think it was the smart choice given how they're playing right now?
I don't even think it was a choice. It might have just been a reaction by him, to be honest. I mean, all that testosterone, you're in the game, someone grabs your leg in a heated game, how else are you going to react? Like, oh, let me just move aside. Of course he's going to stomp on him just by reaction, but obviously it wasn't a wise choice, but it's just what happened, you know? I hope he doesn't get suspended for Game 3, but just what happened.
Draymond knows that, like we were saying, it's a young team, and that's how they're down 2-0. That's how you come back. You rattle that young team.
All right. I don't know. I don't know if that's the message we want to put out there. That's how you win playoffs.
No. All the winning teams, they are
the best player.
Look, I mean,
MVP. That's how you win MVP.
I wouldn't compare Draymond to Dennis Rodman or Ron Artest, but like those guys, that's why they were on the team, to mess with and to get in their own heads. It's a mental game. You know, you hear all these players say it's a mental game more than anything, and if anybody's susceptible to mind games, it's a young team like the Kings.
That's very true. But go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I didn't watch the play or the game, so I want to know like if you guys can tell me like what happened, because something you kind of described it a little bit right now, that he grabbed someone's like, so like they fall together or like.
Sabonis fell first, but the way he collapsed, to me, it looked very natural. When he collapsed, it looked like he was somewhat hurt and he started bringing his arms in. To me, it didn't look like he grabbed Draymond's ankle tightly when he came down. It looked like his arms were still open. It looked like Draymond lost his balance a little bit, but the way he... I don't know. I think Draymond had other places to put the foot. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I don't think he necessarily grabbed onto his ankle. That is my take.
And was this like after like a contested like layup?
It was off like a rebound, but okay. I think they were both on purpose. He grabbed his leg on purpose, and obviously the stomp seemed intentional, so.
He was going at it with those Sacramento fans for at least like a minute straight, it seemed like.
Well, I like how you mentioned like players interacting with fans, because going to a new game with the Clippers and Suns, I don't know if you guys saw it trending on social media where Westbrook was interacting and like talking smack to one of the Suns fans about like, I don't know what they were talking about, but definitely they were talking smack to each other and everything.
Saying how much they love each other.
Probably, man. Probably. Yeah, right.
But what do you guys think the move is on that? Because we see it more and often now. I've seen it LeBron a couple times. You know, I don't know what they're saying to each other, but I'm sure it's not good. But also, the more we see it, like on social media and stuff, do you guys think it promotes that to keep happening? Because you can't like kick out all these fans. So I don't know, like, what's the move here?
It's tough.
I don't know if the move was necessarily to kick out these fans. One thing though about these fans, I've definitely seen the angst increase this season for sure. But one thing about these fans is it's so easy to talk to them on the court from afar, because you know these players can't do anything. You know they're going to have to pay fines. You know they're going to get suspended. So it's really easy. I think whether you see them react or not, you're going to have those fans that are doing that. But I think to the height we've seen this season, I think now the players are just getting sick of it. I think they're willing to take those fines. They're willing to get suspended. They're not going to have it anymore, especially since the West is so tight. I think that's why we're seeing it a lot more in the West this season, is because the hype's up. Yeah. It's so close right now. They want to win. So when they have visiting fans getting in their ear too, telling them they don't deserve to win or things like that, I mean, you're going to react. Like you said with Draymond, it's part of the game.
Part of the game.
Well, I know we were talking about it during the commercials. Like, why would like the Suns center have like that type of layout where you have the opposing team interacting with like the home fans? Yeah, like why would you have that? Like you're just basically promoting for violence, because you know the fans are going to talk smack to the players that are walking out.
But my whole thing, Russ has taken some heat this season, and for good reason.
Last couple years.
For good reason. He's not a shooter. And on the Lakers team, Lakers fans want shooters. Lakers fans are used to that caliber of play from their players. So when you're not performing, they want you out right away. It's not easy to be a Laker on the team as a Lakers player, but he's a defense guy. We saw that in this first game, if anything, and that was my whole thing. I think everyone was passing on the Clippers way too quickly. We haven't seen Kawhi go up against KD in how long since like them together in the playoffs. And then Russ has played with KD for so long. He knows all of his little nuances, all of his habits too. I think he defended KD, Book, and Chris Paul on 59 possessions, and they only got 6 points on those 59 possessions for 25% from the field. So if he's doing that great on defense, I think this team has a really strong chance of taking that series for sure. I just think everyone passed on them way too quickly.
I agree. Well, they don't have like the Booker, the Kardashian thing. They got Chris Paul, and then they got KD with all this drama. So they're exciting, but the Clippers, they have depth. That's what they have, and that's what the casual fan is just not going to see or remember. But so I'm with you. I'll pick the Clippers to win this series just because they have depth and they seem more even keeled. Plus, Kawhi Leonard's been the best player in the league for the past month now, and the playoffs is his time to go. So I'm with Kawhi.
I got the Clippers too. I feel like the Suns, they definitely have their talented players and their star players like KD and D-Book, but I feel like they not have enough chemistry like the Clippers do, enough for them to advance. So I got the Clippers.
I want to lean the Suns, but just if the Clippers do win, we might be able to call Tyronn Lue the best coach in the league. I'll leave it at that, but I do have the Suns in 7 right now.
Yeah, they played strong without PG, that's for sure. And I think if the Clips lose tonight, we have a strong chance of seeing him come back. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for playoff talk here for you as well, Titans. So we're going to go ahead and see you next time as well. I'm Marisa Flores.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in, guys. I'm Ethan Michael.
See you again. I'm Alex Granados.
And I'm Oscar Rodriguez. Give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter if you haven't already at CSUF Titan Sports to keep you updated on all things sports. Thank you, everyone.